Today we've got an attack versus defence drill. Specifically, we're coaching defending and we're looking at shape and position within that as well. We're just going to be coaching the out of possession team, so the team in red here, and we're going to be working on the objective of coaching our defensive shape, our position and our pressing triggers. So in terms of setup and how we're going to set up for this drill, it's an attack versus defence drill. So the reds are the defending team, the out of possession team who will be coaching today, and the blues are the attacking team who will be looking to score in the big goal. It's a 6v6, but that's defending team have got 6 with the goalkeeper, so they've actually underloaded against the attacking blue team. We're going to have one large goal for the blue team to shoot in and score in with a goalkeeper for the red team, as we say. We're going to have 4 mini goals in and around the halfway line. So if the red team win the ball back, they can go on and score in the mini goal. We're going to split the pitch up into 5 lanes. So we've got the central zone, we've got the 2 half spaces just wide of that, and then we've got the 2 wide areas at the extremities of the pitch, both left and right. So 5 lanes to work across. And we also want lots of balls to reload as well. So the ball will always start with the attacking team at the halfway line. In terms of instructions and how we execute the drill, as we've said, it's an attack versus defence drill, and the ball will always start with the attacking team. So if the ball goes dead at any point, goes out for a corner, a throw-in, it's just going to go back to the halfway line and start with a pivot player here who's on the ball, reload from the halfway line, and then we're playing. The attacking team are trying to score in the big goal, the large goal with the goalkeeper. The defending team, who we're working with here and who we're coaching here, we're going to ask them as a condition that when they haven't got the ball, that they must occupy 3 lanes only. So they must only occupy 3 lanes at any one time as a compact unit. And the last condition we're going to have is if the red team, the defending team, win the ball back, they can go on and score in a mini goal, and they can use all 5 lanes to do that. So we're going to be contracting and expanding as a defensive unit when we haven't got the ball to when we have got the ball. Before we go on to talk about the coaching points in depth, please take the time to like and subscribe this video. It makes a huge difference, and we're really, really thankful for you taking the time to do that. Thank you. So the coaching points for this drill, like what are we trying to coach? And we need to remind ourselves, what is the objective? Our objective here is to work with the out of possession team, so the defending team in red here. And we're trying to coach them, one on their defensive shape and then their defensive position as well. So the condition that we put in of you must only occupy 3 lanes really helps us coach their distance between each other and how compact they must be. And splitting your pitch into 5 lanes like this really helps you give the players a measurement and a guide to where they should be in the pitch at any time. You can use these types of setups for lots of different objectives, but for the objective of defending compactly and our defensive shape, telling them which lanes they should be in when the ball's in a certain position really, really helps and translates to a game situation really well. What you as a coach are trying to intervene and coach here is, do gaps appear? So we're looking for the blue attacking team to be really patient in possession here. Can they pull players out and disrupt the defending team's shape? As a coach, is there gaps in between the defenders? Is there too large a gap in between the defenders? Make sure they're at the distances that you would like them to be. So when we talk about distance, it's not just distance horizontally, so across the back line. We're also talking about distance vertically as well, so between the back 4 players and their pivot player in front of them. An attacking team are looking to exploit gaps, not just in between the defending players, so where they can penetrate, but also in between the lines of the defensive line and the midfield line as well. So if that gap opens up in between, a player can get turned, and then they can really look to cause some damage to the defending team. So coaching point number 1, keep an eye on distance and gaps between all of the defending players, and then the relationship between the defending players and the midfield players in front of them. Coaching point number 2, which we've touched on already, though, is compactness. So are we using the 3 lanes, or is either of the fullbacks struggling to get across and they're not reacting quick enough? They might be a bit tentative to really push across the pitch onto the ball side. And that's a really important point, and it seems obvious, but they should be compact on the side of the pitch where the ball is, and we call that ball side. And we need those players to be comfortable with the fact that those defenders tucking across leaves a gap like it does on the left-hand side there. So it leaves a really big open space and leaves us vulnerable to the switch of play. But what we are doing as a defending team is we're stopping the forward pass. We're not allowing them to play through us. We're asking them to play around us or try and play around us, and they can't hurt us there. They can't do any damage. We're sitting in a relatively compact low block here because we've only got half the pitch. But what we're trying to learn is the fundamentals of that we stay compact, we try and force a mistake, force a pressing trigger. We remind the players that you don't always have to win the ball with a tackle. You can get the ball back through just allowing the opponent to make mistakes and forcing them into a rash decision. Maybe they're trying to force a ball through when it's not on. And that will come as you frustrate a team when they play from side to side. They will try and force a pass forward. So that patience, which is our next coaching point, is really, really important. We've just alluded to it, but coaching point number 3 is patience out of possession. Being comfortable without the ball is really important. I think sometimes we can get a bit hurried as an out of possession team, and we think we've just got to go and press and win the ball all the time. We've got to wait for the right opportunity to do so, and also be really comfortable with the fact that if the opposition maintain the ball for a while, they're probably going to get a little bit lazy. They might force a ball. They might get frustrated themselves and try and take a player on when they've got cover around already. So you will get the ball back if we just accept the fact that we need to be patient without it and wait for the right opportunity to arise. Coaching point number 4 is a reminder of press-cover balance. So if the fullback was to press, the right centre-half would provide cover, and then the remaining 2 players in the back four would provide balance. So we're not allowing any player to ever get in a 1v1 situation, so we're not allowing the fullback to be in a 1v1. If they are faced up 1v1, the centre-back closest to them provides cover. So if the ball is knocked past them, they can cover around and win the ball. And the remaining 2 players in the back line are providing cover to save any, to provide cover and balance for the switch of play to then be in shape again and to work across the back line if needed. And that process is repeated. So if the ball's central, it might be a centre-half that's providing the press, in which case the players next to them provide the cover and the extra player is the balance. And we just make sure the players are thinking in that way all the time, but they need to be patient to the previous point before that to execute that properly. My final coaching point is communication. So I'm going to tie scanning in with this as well, and scanning out of possession. Scanning out of possession is really, really important. The centre-halves in particular need to have their heads on a swivel and have a real awareness of where the players are around them, the distances between them and their colleagues in that defensive line. And there's only scanning and communication that's going to fix that. So we need to be communicating all the time, making sure that players that can't see you can hear you and understand what distances they've got between you and them. And we need to be scanning to make sure that we're aware all the time of where the opposition are and where we are as a compact unit. So that was all of our coaching points. I'm going to now start to talk about what we might use this setup for. But before we do, please like and subscribe. It is massively appreciated if you take the time to do that. So I just wanted to take some time to talk about the setup that I've used here, just 5 lanes. And I think it's a really simple setup. And there's lots that you can coach here and lots of different objectives that you can work through. Sometimes it's best not to overcomplicate session design and just play an attack versus defence drill or a game. And just maybe have some a few setups that your go-to setups that help you coach any objective. Now, if I use this as an example, so today I'm coaching out of possession and I'm working with a defensive team specifically. If I was to use this exact setup, I could also coach switching play with the attacking team in blue, and I could work on how wide they are, where their position is in relation to the ball, how we draw the defensive team across, and then look to switch quickly. So that's one example. I could also look to coach use of the half spaces. So the 2 yellow areas really are the half spaces. And I could coach the attacking team on how we get into those spaces, how we make runs in those spaces, the danger of those spaces. and how we overload a fullback maybe to then get through the gaps in between the centre half to get into that half space in the area and work on our cutbacks into that second 6-yard box to finish. So there's 3 examples there of really good sessions that you could use with the exact same session design. So have a think about that. That's all for today. I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section, please. Final reminder, please like and subscribe.